Okay, we are live on Facebook and on YouTube. Hello, everybody. I'm Paul Lathrop. I'm the Deputy Director of New Media for the Second Amendment Foundation. This is the Daily Bullet for Tuesday, the 9th of March, 2021. Joining me today, and you've seen her before, you're going to see her again, Amanda Suffecool, Eye on the Target Radio, good friend of mine, and the reason I bring her on so often is because she's so good at commenting on what is going on in the world. Amanda, thanks for joining me today.
Oh, well, thanks for having me. And you know, you're just asking, do I have an opinion? Let me think about that for a minute.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. All right, I am getting social media turned on right now. I want to remind everybody, we've got 2, maybe 3 topics today. So it's going to go quick. But if you want us to discuss something, or if you want to comment on what we're commenting on, we will get your comments on the air. Just comment on either of the Facebook or the YouTube videos, and if it's relevant to what we're talking about, we will talk about it. We've already got a bunch of comments coming in, and one that I want to pop up just came in from John Petrolino. And I screwed up, but if you see it, it's under your name, Amanda.
Oh, there you go.
I gotta go in and correct that, but that's awesome.
Well, I want to know why Clovertack is drunk too. So there's two notes going on there.
That was from the last show. Yeah. So anyway, let me bring that out. I gotta correct the. I gotta correct you.
My name tag just went away, but yeah, that was the. I got that from a California radio station, and it just cracked me up.
All right, let me do a little.
Yeah, and that is the PG version of that, because Aaron Paulette, on the other hand, had coined something just a little less PG, but
okay.
So my name is well, I married it. It's not my fault. It's really not my fault. So
okay.
That's how that works. Oh, there we go. See that? I am nationally syndicated radio show, Eye on the Target Radio. So now and then that needs to show up, because man, am I proud of that.
All right. Well, let's get off to it now that we've burned 3 minutes.
Yes.
Out of a 30-minute program. Let's go ahead and let's start talking a little bit about what's going on. One thing that caught my attention this morning, and I wrote about it for the Gun Mag, Florida has a bill up in consideration right now in the House. I do not have any. My crystal ball is really foggy. I don't know if it's going to become law or not, but they do have a bill right now that would give convicted felons their gun rights back once they've completed their sentence. They have to have completed all the sentence time. They have to have completed probation, and they have to have paid their fines and restitution and all that. And the felony cannot be a violent felony. But if it's a non-violent felony, they're giving the people of Florida their gun rights back after they've been convicted. Personally, I think that's a great idea, and I think it's something that should have happened a long time ago. What do you think, Amanda?
Well, I think that if you think about the Old West, when you got out of jail, they gave you back your gun, they gave you back your saddle. They didn't give you back your horse, because they either sold it or ate it. But they gave you back all the rest of your stuff, and away you went. And I don't know when it changed. I don't know when history decided that, well, no matter what you do, if you go to jail, you can never own a gun again. I mean, there's the never own a gun, you can't vote, there's all these, whatever happened to paying your debt to society and then coming back into society as a full member? And so I know I've talked to a lot of people that here's the spouse saying, can I own a gun if my husband or if my wife cannot? Can I have one in the house? You know, what are the rules? What happens? Whose job is it to protect the family? You know, will he get in trouble if he picks up the gun that is my gun if somebody's breaking in, you know? And there's so many of those kinds of questions that this will help answer, and this will help put some of that to bed.
we're getting, and I'm kind of surprised by this, we're getting fairly negative comments already. But Tony Novak says, you have to be kidding. Peter Turner says,
Peter,
what can go wrong? Well, guys,
shaking my head. Well, it depends on the felony. It really does. So if it's somebody who didn't pay their library fines or embezzlement, or there's so many reasons. There's so many ways that they make the law. They're making more and more laws, and they're making all of us felons for some reason or another. And I think there's a line of violent felonies. There's a line of violent whatevers. But other than that, I don't know. Paul?
Well, I want to bring up an example from my home state of South Dakota. In my home state of South Dakota, if you write a check for $250 and that check bounces, whose rent these days is not $250? Is your house payment $250 or more? You bounce one check in South Dakota in the amount of $250 or more. That's a felony. Does that mean that you give up your gun rights forever? If you go out, I know a lot of kids that go out. I did it myself, I'll be honest. Go out, have a few beers.
Before you say this, is the statute of limitations over for whatever it is you're confessing online?
Yes,
okay.
yes. You go out, you have a few beers, you go drive home, get pulled over.
That's stupid.
It's stupid, but I've done it. And if I would have gotten arrested every time I did it, because it was more than twice, and it's been more than 20 years ago now, but if I'd have been arrested every time I did it, I'd be a felon. The first two in South Dakota are misdemeanors. Third one's a felony. There are a lot of nonviolent felonies that I think you should not give up your gun rights just because you screwed up.
Yeah, I really agree with you. And I mean, because right now I'm doing research on a story about a guy who owned a gunpowder plant, and it exploded. And they prosecuted him, and they put him in prison for 120 months because they said that he didn't train his employees sufficiently. Okay. The question is, I don't. Where does that fit? And what's the backstory? And did he offer the training? Did they not take it? I know that in OSHA, it doesn't matter if I offer the training and you don't pay attention to it and you do something stupid, then I'm still responsible. So I'm trying to figure out what the backstory is on this. Was this guy a schlep, or where does that fit? But in the example, that means that he loses his gun rights forever. Is that a story? Is that a sufficient story? I don't know.
All right, I'm going to get a few comments in here.
Let's talk on them.
DJ Play Nice over on YouTube says the presence of one anomaly indicates the likely presence of others.
Presence of others.
Yeah. Douglas says, long overdue to restore fun rights. I think he meant to say gun rights, but hey, everybody's got the right to have fun too. Pilots flying in remote areas are required to have a survival rifle, so felons can't fly there. DJ Played Ice came back with what you were just talking about. Fiduciary responsibility is not directly related to firearms, their use in abuse. Where are we?
I'm not sure where he's going with that.
Yeah. Don Manuel says the Constitution plainly says shall not be infringed upon.
Right, 27 words, and they just keep drawing. The felon portion, actually, I've been doing some research. The felon portion came in the 1968. That's when they added it because they were trying to shut down the murderers of JFK, Robert F. Kennedy, and Martin Luther King. and scooping up every possible reason why they could have precluded them and everyone similar to that from owning guns.
Peter Turner says, so we're going to give illegals guns next? I don't care. They want to defend themselves.
I personally don't think that illegals... I think personal protection is a human right. I also don't think that that illegals, they're already breaking laws in the United States, and I don't think that they should be granted any additional rights or use of our legal system. I think that when they break the law, they are escorted to the closest border and jettisoned across.
I very much believe in giving them a plane ride home. That's anyway. Really good point here. Pete says, for those who don't think people should be allowed to have guns, every opportunity to pigeonhole anyone into the category of prohibited persons is considered a victory.
Right. I agree with them. They're doing so much stuff to make you illegal. If you don't have dog tags on your dog, they're doing stuff. If you your taxes, your zoning, your building permits, it's government overreach. Wait, are we a prepper show? We could be a prepper show today because I could really go into government overreach.
Yeah. All right. George wants to know, did Biden commit a felony when he pulled his dog's tail?
Let's see. It would, if that would be abuse, that in the state of Ohio it potentially could be, because we've got Dick Goddard's law. Yeah, Dick Goddard's law. They passed. Mm-hmm.
All right. One more, and then I think we're going to go ahead and move on.
Okay.
George Geller says, my former congressman Randy Duke Cunningham was convicted of taking bribes on a big scale. After he served his sentence, he asked for the right to own guns again. The judge said no. And that's what burns me right there.
The judge has to say no until the law says that he can say yes.
But that's a non-violent... Cunningham took bribes. Right. Does that mean he no longer has the right to defend his life?
No, I agree with you, but you got to lobby to change the law, which is what Florida's doing, and I think that's a great thing. I think it was wrong to pass the law in the first place.
Yeah. Okay, I lied. Two more.
One more.
Two more comments.
Oh, they're good. They're good ones.
We're getting great. We've got the most amazing viewers. They're putting up great comments. Charlie Chambers. Charlie's a great brand. Charlie says, average American breaks 3 laws a day. And Tony Novak says...
And since speeding is a law, I concur with him, yes.
In that case, Amanda, I think you break more than 3. But anyway, Tony Novak says, can you please help me get my CCL? Tony, man, that's not what I do. That's kind of beyond my scope. I will say, Tony, move to South Dakota. You don't need one. There you go.
There are, 16 states now with constitutional carry?
18. You have to add in Montana and Utah, and there may be more coming.
Percolating.
All right, let's
go to the next topic?
Yeah, my home state is South Dakota. Just today, actually yesterday it passed. It's on the governor's desk. I have every expectation Governor Noem will sign it. We've got our own stand your ground law. I wasn't aware until last week that we didn't have one. I think that South Dakota is trying really, really hard to have the best gun laws in the nation. The other gun laws that are coming this year, the enhanced carry permit, which was $100 for 5 years, and it's not required in South Dakota. You do not have to have a concealed carry permit, but they do issue them if you go out of state. The enhanced permit, the fee went from $100 to $50. And there's I'm telling you, South Dakota, I am pleased as punch, I can say. I am a resident, and I'm very proud of it. So, let's see here. Tony, go ahead.
So, Ohio has the stand your ground law, and Ohio is they're not a trailblazer. We'll just say that for concealed carry, we were like the 45th state to pass it. So, I mean, we were just right in front of Illinois. And so,
well, hey, you were in front of Illinois.
Well, yeah, but man, it's so the fact that we've got that and you don't, because I thought you were one of the freest states.
Well, we're working on it.
Yeah.
Tony Novak says, "Okay, help me move, dude." Gas money, man. Gas money.
Three men in a truck.
Yep. Yep. Peter Turner says, "I support stand your ground." That's all cool. But
right.
The thing that was in the news stories that they didn't want the Democrats, and it was Democrats opposing it in the state house. The big reason they didn't want it is because, well, that would give me the right, if somebody's breaking in my neighbor's house, to shoot them without knowing context. No, actually it doesn't. What stand your ground law does, if somebody's committing a violent felony against another person, you fear for their life, it gives you the right to use your firearm in their defense, not just your own. Mm-hmm. So, let's see here. You know what? Let's do one more thing, and we've been doing this 17 minutes. We've got 13 more. I think this will take up the rest of it, because I'm kind of surprised we haven't got a comment yet. We've gotten over 50 comments in the 15 minutes we've been on. I'm kind of surprised this one hasn't come up, because it's come up almost every other time I've been on for 15 minutes. I just never put the comment up. And that is, we need more ammunition factories. There's no ammo out there.
Yep.
Amanda, you're in aerospace. You don't make ammo, but you're in manufacturing. You're a professional engineer. And if I'm going to give you free reign for a few minutes, and I'm going to jump in, tell me why Federal just doesn't go build 3 more factories.
Okay, well, there's a couple different reasons, because there's a run on it. We had a run in 2008, we had a run in 2013, and now we have a run now. And this run, the interesting thing about it is it's a run on ammo. You go to the shelf, there's nothing on the shelf. But really bigger than that is there's nothing on the shelf because the ammo manufacturers don't have the raw materials to actually manufacture ammo. They can't get primers, they can't get powder, they can't get projectiles. And if they can't get the raw materials needed, then there's really not a lot that they can do if they have a process line. So that's the first piece. Then the second piece is, how long does it take you to build a process line? What is the investment? A couple of years ago, there was a shortage, the 2013 shortage. There was a shortage of 22s, and it was dire. I mean, you couldn't get. It was so dire that there were people actually selling reload your own 22 kits. So that it had a little centrifuge, and you put a little liquid in the already spent 22 cartridge, and you spun it, and you did all that. You could buy a new 22 process line. Not a building, not anything else, just the process line to make 22s for $5 million. And so the question is how long is the shortage? And you got a spare $5 million sitting around. So when you start to really then talk about the other process lines, why are they not building them? One is this shortage is going to be over, then they're going to have a glut of ammunition again. And so really, gun manufacturers, ammo manufacturers have to look at it. There's an ebb and a flow, and they have to look at all of that. And so right now, if they decided they were building an ammo plant right now, it would be, if they were speedy, it would be 18 to 24 months to have something going. I mean, it's a really long time to design and build a new plant and to put the process lines in, to order the machines. to have them come in, and then they need the raw materials to go with it. So it's the whole supply chain, it's all of that kind of stuff. I've been involved in building a couple different manufacturing plants, setting them up, building the process lines. So I get it. I was the lead engineer on a $2.2 million process line myself. I led the project, and I know what it takes time-wise. So it's not a short process, and it's really hard to convince somebody that we're going to do this because there's a shortage if we can't guarantee that the shortage is going to stay. Paul?
Well, a couple of things have come in on social media, and let's see here. DJ Play Nice says Dylan sells those kits, referring to 22 reloaders. I don't know, the brass on 22 is so very, very thin. I don't know that I'd trust it. But hey, to each their own. And he also says poly cases and projectiles. Well, that still doesn't give you the powder, still doesn't give you the primer.
And there were a couple companies that tried the poly cases a couple years ago, and I don't know where that went, because you saw them for a while. You saw a lot of 223 that way, and then it went away.
Yeah. And he says he really appreciates your expertise. Very cool. And
thanks.
It is Mrs. I mean, you're not single, but, hey.
No.
Yeah. Anyway, let's see. Charlie's got a great comment here. He says, it's a bullwhip effect in the supply chain. It's the old supply and demand effect. That is something I wanted to bring into the conversation, too. Mm-hmm. We only have to go back to March of last year to prove my point. March of last year, coronavirus hit. People started getting laid off. And all of a sudden, all the toilet paper in the stores disappeared. Poof. Mm-hmm. And it took 4 to 5 months for it to come back, because even after it disappeared, when somebody seen toilet paper on the shelf, because they were making it consistently, when somebody seen toilet paper on the shelf, they bought all they could and emptied the shelves. And it was 4 to 5 months for everything to come back online. Well, we've been without ammo on the shelves for, what does Rob say? It's day 89?
80 something, yeah.
Rick
wants a t-shirt that says day 89, still no ammo.
Yeah, so I don't think that in 2 weeks we're going to wake up and there's going to be ammo on the shelf. Even if they were to magically, get all the stuff they need to make the ammo. And, for example, Robert here, let's send this one. Robert says, both Federal, CCI, and Hornady say they're working 24/7 making ammunition, but they say people are buying it faster than they can make it.
Well, it makes sense. The one question that I ask people when they start grousing about it is, okay, if you go to the shelf and there is no ammo, and you typically buy 2 boxes, the next time you go to the shelf and there is ammo, how many boxes do you buy? And typically their answer is as many as I can get. Mm-hmm. Because once you see an empty shelf once, you're like, not happening to me. Nope, not. And that will happen, and that's Charlie's bullwhip effect. So even when the shelves get resupplied, then it'll get cleaned out again. And so it'll be this reverberation that comes and comes and comes for a while, because they'll get stuff and then it'll go, and they'll get stuff and then it'll go. And then it'll say, the first time it's gone in 24 hours. The next time it may be gone in 36 hours. The next time it may be gone in 48 hours. But that's kind of what happens.
Peter says COVID gives you the runs.
Yep, run on something.
Yeah,
literally, yes. Do you know that there were actually people who, after they hoarded toilet paper, tried to take it back to the store because I don't need that much?
No, I didn't.
The stores had notices that said that they would not buy back toilet paper because the hoarders, then tried to bring it back.
Yeah, wow. Tony asks a great question that I don't know the answer to. Is this ammo shortage just in the U.S. or is it worldwide? I only ask because a lot of the ammo shortage is caused because the economic instability due to COVID. Now, everybody, I honestly believe this. Ammo shortage is not due to COVID. Ammo shortage was because of the civil unrest last summer. It is because of Seattle. It is because of Minneapolis. It is because of Portland. That is why we have an ammo shortage. The reason we still have an ammo shortage is because we just don't, that hasn't caught up.
It's got some COVID going to it, though.
Really?
Because and here's the reason why. Think about it. Importation of powder, importation of primers. We import. I think that the number is like 80% of all primers used are imported. All powder is imported. Most projectiles that are anything that's lead based is imported because we don't mine any more lead. We only recycle. Okay, so you take that, you take COVID, you take the fact that they took down and they stopped accepting shipments for 3 months in most of the major ports. They couldn't ship stuff in from Australia. They couldn't ship stuff in from the Ukraine. China. They couldn't ship. We weren't taking ships because we didn't want the COVID to come in on a ship. So we had like a 3-month lull before we started to accept stuff back. You actually started to see a shortage in the stores because they couldn't get their supplies. The Walmart was consolidating and moving stuff around because they didn't have supplies for a period of time as that happened. So that you tie that to the civil unrest and to then the gun owners getting to a shelf and there's not anything on the shelf and then they overbuy, and to the fact that you've got 8 million new gun owners that bought 100 rounds each. That's 800 million new pieces of ammo. And you tie all that together and it's like the perfect storm. It's like an egg snake, and all of a sudden there's the blob that's in the middle of the snake, and the rest of the snake is just smooth, and there's the glub.
Yep. Well, we are at, 27 and a half after, so we're almost at 30 minutes. I think we're going to go ahead and set this aside. And, folks, I want to thank everybody for watching and for commenting. As we're on our way out, Amanda, I would not be doing my job correctly if I didn't ask you to tell everybody about the nationally syndicated radio program you run and where people can find you.
Okay, it's called Eye on the Target Radio, and we started on the West Coast, believe it or not, and are working our way east. So you can find us on eyeonthetargetradio.com. You can find us on OpsLens, where you can actually see and watch our radio show. It's kind of Howard Sternish, I guess, if you will. And then we're also anywhere that podcasts are found. So because we do our show and then we dump it over to a podcast. So it's radio, it's on-demand TV, and it is podcast. So Eye on the Target Radio is its name.
All right. I hear you've got a fantastic video producer that helps you with that.
I hear he's wonderful. He's wonderful. People compliment. No, he compliments himself. I was going to say somebody compliments him. It's him. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, everybody, again, thanks for watching. We're going to set this one aside. Come join us tomorrow. Tomorrow's guest with me is going to be Cheryl Todd from Gun Freedom Radio. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.